the deal, you guys? It's your girl, Fallon Favors. Yes, back again for another episode of the Baby Mama Chronicles. Thank you so much for joining me once again. If this is your first time here, welcome to the BM gang. You're really not gonna get a lot of this game anywhere else. You might as well go ahead and like, subscribe, and share now. Make sure to ring the notification bell so that way you stay alerted for anytime I drop any new content. We're definitely putting out more content as we speak, planning on going live, doing a whole bunch of dope things, and you do not want to miss it. So again, stay tuned. One of my dopest videos, one of my videos that have been the most triggering, which is the key and operative word, right? This video has been the most triggering, I think, out of all of the videos that I have produced on the Baby Mama Chronicles page and channel. Instagram, liking pictures on Instagram. Yes, no, maybe so. And I have gotten so much feedback from male and female counterparts that are with very strong opinions about this, right? So that's how I know, because it struck a nerve, how relative it is in the conversation in 2022 still. And when you think about it, we are stepping into this digital, we're already in, we're not stepping into, we have stepped into this digital era, the metaverse, and all of this different stuff. Like, the world is shifting and the world is changing, and the way that we interface, not only physically one-on-one in person, right, but the way that we interface in these digital spaces and on these platforms does say a lot about where we are individually. And I don't think that we should ignore that or negate that just for the sake of making it very insignificant in the grand scheme. I think that's a deflection. I think we really have to understand that every single thing that we do has intention, whether we be conscious or subconscious about it, right? A lot of us are trying to find our space in the digital space, and a lot of us are struggling, and I think we're struggling to understand each other. So today we're pretty much going to talk about the male POV as it pertains to liking pictures and commenting on pictures on Instagram, and then we're going to talk about the female POV. So that way, as you guys are watching it, you can kind of understand, based on the feedback that I've gotten, where the other one sits with the whole topic, right? And why it's such a big deal for some and not really a big deal for others. So we'll start with the male POV. A lot of the information that I receive from men regarding this topic, liking pictures on Instagram, commenting on pictures on Instagram, being in the DMs, whatever, right? A lot of it came down to men feeling like this is social media. This is a digital platform. It is not real, and it does not affect my day to day. If I happen to see a beautiful woman on Instagram and I like her picture, it's because I generally like the picture. If I commented on the picture, maybe that's just what I wanted to do in that moment because I feel like no one would get hurt. This is just social media. This is not a big deal. Like, once I get off of here, I'm gonna probably go see what my girl want for dinner, or what my, the girl I'm talking to or whatever, hit her up to see, how her day was. Like, I'm not really thinking about it. It's not weighing on me emotionally to where I had a lot of serious intention of anything coming from that action, right? That's how a lot of men see it. And adverse to that, a lot of women see it as it's just straight up disrespectful. If you're talking to a woman, if you're with a woman, married, in relationship, or dating, whatever, a lot of women feel that the man that they're interested in, or that's with them, in relationship with them, married to them, whatever, a man giving another woman that level of attention publicly for people to see. I think that's operative too, when you guys start thinking about it too, because it's the fact that other people can see it. I think that sometimes kind of plays on a woman's self-esteem or ego in that regard. So that's something to note. But it's typically, from what I've heard from women, have been, I think it's just downright disrespectful, period. And you can definitely just look and keep it moving. You do not have to have a physical action to follow whatever thoughts you had in your head when you saw the picture, right? So we're looking, I think, as women a little bit deeper into it, and men are staying on the surface. Now, obviously, this isn't a super big surprise because this is what we typically do biologically anyway. Men typically do keep it very surface, very logic-based. And as women, we're always delving deeper into our emotions to find true understanding as to the where, the who, the when, the why, and all of the other things. So I think it's important to provide advocacy for both, right? Because everything I want you guys to understand, right, in life, and this is something that I'm learning too, is that there is no right or wrong, really. You know what I mean? There's not any right or wrong answer. Everything is both. Duality. Say it with me, you guys. Duality. Like everything is both and everything and nothing at the same time. And I think that's something that really helps contextualize conversations surrounding things like this. So men, this is what I will tell you from a women's POV, how women are feeling surrounding y'all liking girls' pictures on Instagram, commenting under their photos, shooting DMs. Like, this is what's happening in a woman's mind. What I want y'all to understand is that women are very ego-driven creatures. I say that often in conversation, whether it be on, the BMC here or just in conversation with friends. Women have a very healthy ego. And, it's not heavily publicized, I think, or considered, for women. And I think it should be, because it will help, bring understanding to how it is that we look at situations like that. I'll give you an example. In one of these corners, I'm gonna find some footage and I'm gonna put up a video where there's a little girl or something who is very jealous of her mother when her mother begins to show her father affection, right? So you got mama, you got daddy, you got the baby girl. You will see from the very small ages, from infancy all the way up to, however old, where you will see the young, primarily I'm talking about young children though, but you will see the young children, or the young child, the young girl, basically push her mother out the way. Like, girl, why are you here? I mean, this is a me and daddy thing. Like, why are you here? And it's funny, right? But it's also very telling of how we are wired biologically. There is a lot of territorial, ego-driven energy that we carry from, very, very small ages all the way up until we get older. Most women, what they won't admit is that they get jealous, okay? We are territorial. We don't want the attention and affections of our man to be disseminated amongst multiple women at any given time. We want our man to be giving us all the attention. We want our man to be giving us all of that praise and adoration and all of those things and love. And, we want that for ourselves. So if there's a man that is the object of our affection, again, or a partner in some way, shape, or form, most women are going to take issue with the man giving so much, what it seems like to us, attention to another woman. So our issue was less about the fact, I think, that even a man is sexually attracted to another woman or sees beauty in another woman. Most women with logic, common sense are going to know that that is how they're going to operate. And if they see a pretty woman, there's going to be a certain physical response that comes with that. I don't think any woman would deny that or try to, but it's the action of physically making it seen. And again, as we're talking about ego, so it's not just the fact that you thought that she was attractive, it was the thought that you had to physically bring it into this realm that we're living in now. You had to make it, because you could have looked and kept it moving. And it's, you wonder, is it kind of like a rebellious type of thing? Because you definitely can keep it moving. You don't have to like a picture. You don't have to comment on a picture. You don't have to do none of that. But we know what these likes, and we know what these likes mean. Let me tell you how important like currency is, because you would be liking everything if that's the case. Do you like everything? No, it'd be stuff that you pass like, shit, scroll. You don't like everything. There are certain things that you gravitate to, and there are certain things that you don't. So if you've taken the conscious effort to put that into action to where, again, other people are able to see it, that is going to play on the female psyche and the female ego. And what another thing that you guys don't understand is the fragility of a woman. And if you have daughters, you begin to kind of understand a little bit better. But until you do, maybe you've had sisters, so you've had an opportunity to kind of grow up in that environment. The way that we feel with our men, father, brother, hubby, boo, whatever, we're very sensitive to what he thinks about us. We're very sensitive about how he views us in a way of beauty, which is why you see women doing all of these beauty treatments, from baby lashes to laser this and tuck this and pump that and plump this, and because we always want to be the object of the male gaze, okay? And, when our man that we have an emotional attachment to gives that male gaze to another woman, it can be very trying on our psyche and again and our ego, and it doesn't make us weaker human beings, because y'all know that y'all be getting jealous too. Okay, we not doing tit for tat, but I'm just saying it can hurt because women go above and beyond to make a man happy typically, you know. And we're not talking in absolutes, but we're talking about a certain kind of woman with a certain kind of man who really wants to kind of show up and do her best and be her best. And so if a woman is doing that for you and then seeing that you're giving the accolades or seemingly accolades to like another woman or something like that, then a lot of women are going to take issue with that and wonder, well, why'd you like it? What about that did you like? Let's discuss that. Let's talk about that. Do you like, you know, do you like, what about that do you like? Do you like how she's dressed? Do you like how she, you know, did this, did that? It can get deep, guys. I'll admit, a lot of the things that we feel are just emotional reactions. They're not necessarily based in logic. They are based in how it makes us feel. Okay, and so you got to get out of that headspace where you feel like everything has to make perfect sense, everything has to check out, you know, the math is math, and as they say, all of those things have to check out, you know. But not so as it pertains to a woman and her emotions. That's just not how it works. So just understand that part of it. Now for the women, okay, let me get another glass of wine. Like, I want you to listen to me. The vast majority of men, if they had a choice, would not be monogamous, baby. The majority of most men across all spectrums, races, types, prototypes, vast majority of them would not choose to be with just one woman. Socially, in the United States of America, we have been conditioned to see relationship between a man and a woman as a one-on-one thing, on a one-on-one basis, right? And we see this reinforced in the Disney movies that we watched as kids, right? We see this reinforced in the rom-coms and, you know, the sitcoms and, you know, a lot of TV fantasy kind of things. You know, it's reinforced in the imaging and the messaging that we digest every day in our media. You know, there's religious beliefs and context thrown in there too, of between right or wrong or the right way to kind of have your relationship. So all of these things have been inbred in us, and when you kind of start with that or understand that from its inception, you kind of see that it's a very steep hill to climb in finding understanding and looking into any other possible reality besides the one that we've been given all of this time. What I want y'all to understand is that innately, men are going to always desire other women. A man could be 80, 90 years old and see a beautiful woman, and he's going to have some type of reaction. You know, the older you get, maybe it's more of an internal thing, you know, an emotional reaction. Wow, that's a beautiful woman, back in my day type vibes. But a man is alive, healthy, thriving. He is going to have a physical response to a woman with whom he is attracted to. And the reality is, you are not going to be the only woman that he's attracted to for the rest of eternity. Not only are you not going to be the only woman that he's not attracted to for the rest of eternity, he is going to be in pursuit of the exchange of energy between masculine and feminine all the time. Outside of you. He's going to desire the smile of a woman. He's going to desire the feminine essence. He's going to desire the kindness, the voluptuous or voluptuous. I was about to say the voluptuosity. He is going to, you know, appreciate the female aesthetic, right? He is going to desire being close to that. He is going to want to be around that and be exposed to that as much as possible. If he's a heterosexual man, he's going to want to be exposed to that as much as he can. And the closer that he can get to it and kind of get, and that's kind of the thing too with social media, it's kind of put everything in the palm of your hand. So the access to that is so much easier. You know, men had to do a lot more leg work back in the day in order to get those needs met. And again, when I say needs, I'm not talking about necessarily sexual needs, although that's a whole nother topic. Baby steps. Because of the way we've been conditioned, like I was just saying, men don't really feel safe being that person in public. Being behind the scenes and being able to kind of do it remotely kind of makes it a little bit easier for them. Even though it's digital, I do feel like intention is always felt, which is the reason why you could see something on TV, you could see something that's branded really well and want to buy it based on the intention set for the people that actually produced it and put it out. So I think even on social media, if there's a certain intention behind what the person is putting forth on the social media, it can be felt. And so a man can still feel that feminine energy even through the phone, even if it's nothing more than just downloading the aesthetic beauty that that woman has and having the desire behind that. We are going to have to begin identifying and acknowledging that we are a conditioned society, and understanding that the conditions of which we've been accustomed to are not even conditions that are ancestrally ours. I think that should be made very, very clear. And it's something that we have to look at. You know, our program is different. Our struggles are different. Our marriages are going to look different. Our relationships are going to look different. The rules and the way in which we, communicate with each other are different. And I think sometimes we are trying to hold men to a certain standard of yesterday, and it's not working, And men, I think, are capitulating to the ideologies that have been set forth just to keep the peace, but not based on their own desire and innate desire for happiness and fulfillment. So when a man is doing these things on social media, ladies, I think they're kind of just acting within their own dominion over themselves. Like, they're kind of just being animals, and that's no disrespect to my man. I'm sorry, but it's like looking at, hot fresh meat. You know what I'm saying? Like in the wild, like, oh my God, like. I think a lot of men are just like, it gets cavemanish, it gets real animalistic. And I'm not, like looking at those as negative things per se, but I mean, it kind of just is what it is. It's kind of that lower vibrational, lower nature that we all have within us, male or female, but men are, I think, a lot more prone to exercise their liberties in that regard. And being on social media is no different, because a lot of these men, the same men that would be doing all that, or a lot of the same men that if they see a pretty girl, they gonna tell her in person too. Are you looking pretty today? Okay, I like that dress. I like stuff that they would never say in front of you, of course. But things like that are happening because men, I don't even know if men are really trying to help it. And to be honest with you, I don't even know if it's something that they should be trying to help. I think that what we should all be doing is figuring out how to come into situations a little bit more honest with where we're at. The man saying, hey, I have this innate desire, for feminine energy to be around me, to be exposed to it. It fuels me, it drives me, it serves as inspiration for me. And although I love you and I think that you are beautiful, I respect you, I love you, I do not want to hurt you, you are very special to me. However, I am always going to be able to see the beauty in other women as well. And I don't want you to take that as a slight or, just like a slight against how I feel about you and the love that I carry for you. A man should be able to have that conversation to his woman. And a woman should be able to say, baby, I love you. I just want to make sure that you all about me and that you love me, I'm confident with who I am. I love the way that I look, or I love what I'm being able to put forth to the table, but I want to make sure that you're serious about how you feel about me, that you're not going to be swayed and lured into the arms of another woman based on what it is that she's given on Instagram. I want to make sure that you are disciplined enough to withstand the temptation of looking at a beautiful woman, of being exposed to a beautiful woman, or being exposed to that feminine essence and energy, whether it be on this digital platform or in person. I want to make sure that you can hold your own and that you can discipline yourself. We need to start having those kind of conversations. And I think we're a little bit afraid to say because it puts us somewhat in a vulnerable position. Some men are kind of using it as a distraction as well. Men need to start being more honest with that. Baby, I just be bored. I don't know. I really need to start putting more focus into the things that are going to help us both elevate. You know, let me start figuring out how I can, you know, get us some more money. Let me start figuring out what the next play and what the next step is going to be, because the reality is, baby, the women and the men are both going to be here. Okay, the women and the men are both going to be here. So if you're in a relationship and you're finding it very hard to accept that your man is liking pictures, commenting, and all that stuff, that's not a problem. And if it bothers you, and if it's something that really means that much to you, you are warranted to feel however it is that you want to feel. And if a man don't really understand it or get it, then that's where y'all got to meet at that crossroad and kind of figure out what the next step is going to be. But don't negate how you feel. Just understand that there's also always, reasonings behind why it is we do what we do, why we think the way that we think, the ideologies that we created in our mind. Why do we feel like that? It always is sourced from somewhere. And just understand that a lot of what we're feeling when we see a man do that, some of it is based in the fact that he may have a lack of self-control. You know, I totally agree. But a lot of it, ladies, has to do with us and how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about our relationship with that partner, how we feel about other women, you know, how we feel about the reality of what's really happening in the world, and kind of, you know, facing our childhood pictures that we created in our mind of how things are supposed to be, and really divorcing those ideas, stepping into the realm of possibility for what's, you know, kind of based on what's happening right now in our present space, in our present time, what our eyes can see and what our eyes can't see, kind of basing our informing our perceptions on that. And I think that will definitely help drive us in the right direction with kind of understanding where our man may be coming from, and then also being able to have more security in the fact that just because a man shows a woman some attention on a social media platform does not mean that he loves us any less, that he desires us any less, or that he has any less plans on really being the man that we want him to be. Okay, you guys, y'all let me know how y'all feeling about this. We're going to keep the conversation going. I did want to tap in and do a follow-up. I know some of you guys are still having some of your issues with that. Let me know if any of this resonated with you. You know, this can be very triggering. It can be a very triggering topic, and I understand. I've been in that boat, so I kind of understand where y'all at with it. But y'all let me know. Drop it down in the comments. If y'all have any other questions, topics y'all want me to talk about, make sure y'all drop that in the comments too. I love y'all as always, and I will see you very, very soon. Peace.